Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you've decided to look at this video. The last video I did was just the collection of the video and a quick walk around. I explained then that there was already a couple of mods on there. There was a couple of things I wanted to do. So what I was going to do today, I went for a ride out and I tried to record the video on my phone because I don't have any sort of action cam at the moment. It didn't really work out. So yeah, I will show you what happened there with the video. It was sort of wavy. I don't know if it was the vibrations or electrical impulses. I don't know. So something was interfering. I suspect it was just the vibrations. So that didn't work out. So what I've done is, after I've had a ride out, I've come back. I've said I'll let you all in on what I've done to the bike so far. But also, as you know, the other part of what I was doing is setting up lightweight camping gear, because this bike's now for adventures. It's a small bike and I'm going to go on some big adventures. So that's what I'm going to get set up. What I've done with my camping gear is primarily always had heavyweight stuff. So a lot of it's been ex-army bivvy bags, ex-army tarp, ex-army sleeping bags, all really heavyweight but bomb-proof stuff. But now the situation is going to change. I'm going to need to go as lightweight as possible because luggage carrying options are quite limited on the small bike. So I'll show you what I've done so far. On the last video I said to people if they wanted to comment, give me some advice to do so, and I'd have a look at it, and I've done that. So if you do leave any comments, I will take the advice. I'll have a look. I got a tent based on advice I've received from comments from the last video and messages I received. A few other bits I got through research, but definitely always open to suggestions. Please put your comments below and give me any suggestions you have. So without further ado, we'll have a look at the monkey bag now, see what we've done to it. Right. So anyone who's seen the first video will know that the bike already came with the Zoom exhaust. Nice little system with a nice sound to it. I'll start it up for you shortly. It's also got a side panel for the infill there, because once you take away the OEM exhaust, it leaves a lot of wires and things on the show. So that's a nice touch. It's very expensive, that actually, but I think it's worth it. It has to be done. So the rear rack, that was already on there. Again, it's very tiny. I've added a Q bag, which is a small tail pack. It's designed for going onto the actual seat itself and not a rack. So the straps that came with it, I've actually removed. Well, just pull them out, and I've just fixed it on with cable ties, which you can snip off. As you can see, that it's only £20 this bag. It will unzip and it leaves this behind. So my plan is I can use this from day to day, and then when I need to put the big Lomo on, there you go, big Lomo, I could just sort of strap that on. May need to add a plate to make this big, because it is tiny. The racks on these, everybody knows that. Just notice there's a gap under here between the bag and the bottom plate, so I just shove a bike cover inside there for now. There's the monkey bungs to cover the horrible hole for the seat removal, so I've added those onto there. Also, I got the horn cover. I think I mentioned in the last video that the horn I was looking to relocate to, clean up the front end. But I do like it with that monkey cover on there. I think I will ultimately relocate it here with the horn cover as well, the monkey cover. I've also put on there a screen, which is the Dart Piranha. I saved a couple of quid by picking up second hand, even though it was only a couple of quid saving. I was helping out another monkey bike rider by taking it off his hands. I think he'd sold that particular bike on and he was doing something else. There's Pac-Man. He's already on there, he's not a new one. bit of a Pac-Man, he's yellow and he munches up the miles, so maybe Pac-Man's a good name for him, I don't know, maybe I'll go with that. Let me know what you think. The service, dual road handguards, so I've added those on. Very simple install. They came with quite a big installation kit, but with the Honda Monkey here, all I had to do was remove the bar end weights, and then I got the same size. It was an M6, I think it was an M640 that was fitted. It wasn't quite long enough because I had to put this as a spacer in there, which isn't really important for this side, but it was very important for this side because it was trapping and it wouldn't allow me to use that, so I had to. So we had to get longer bolts, just a couple of, all you basically use was a couple of M660s, and that's it, done. Quick installation, one bolt straight on, made a world of difference. Also, I replaced the hideous, massive silver controls, so there you go. Got both sides adjustable, small. They were only £20 off eBay. They're actually pretty good, and I can't complain about them whatsoever. There we've got a little phone holder. That was what I was trying to insert the phone into, and I had it aimed at the road and was going to record a bit of video, but the vibrations really messed with the video, so that's not going to work. So I'm going to have to bite the bullet and buy a camera if I want to do any sort of moving footage. Okay, so the tank bag by Givey, this was a bit of a pain. I asked around to see what, just to see what we needed for the tank ring. So it was a tank ring that was needed to fit. The best I could come up with was a BF25, which was a perfect fit. This was actually for the Africa Twin. I think the difference between this and most others, it really does hold it away from the tank. But what happens with the Africa Twin, they've only got one particular bag for the bike, which is very strange, and they've moved this cutout here, which is normally here. So obviously the specific tank bag for the Africa Twin and this ring, it fits on, and the catch is on this side instead of here. So when I came to put this bag on, I've got 2 or 3 others, which is why I stuck with Givey. It was ending up here, this way. It had to go that way, it couldn't go any other way. So what I realised was the only thing that was stopping it was these two pieces here. So I've got the Dremel out, cut a couple of notches, and have it goes on the correct way. No issue. After I did all that, somebody popped up straight away and said, oh yeah, you should have got the BF30. So BF30 is the correct ring for this bike. But after about 2 or 3 weeks of asking, nobody came up with it, and then the minute I did that, somebody pops up and said, yeah, it's the BF30. Right, so that's just typical. I haven't done any videos of installs or how-tos or anything like that, because I'm not your man for that. Every job I do, if it's a 10-minute job, it'll take an hour. Something will go wrong. Just for example, this screen, all there is this bolt here and one on the other side. As soon as I came to do it, I realised it had been stripped out already on this side. So that was 3 days I had to wait to get some new bolts so I could drill one out and replace it. Apparently that's very common, and it's always this side as well. This side, the other side came out no problem. So there's that. I'll give you a listen to the exhaust if I can find my key. Yeah, there's my key. Yeah. I didn't really like the exhaust. It was already on it when I bought the bike, and to be honest, because it was low slung, I prefer the high level. So I wasn't that keen, but it's just grown on me. The clearance is is fine. I was worried that the clearance wouldn't be there, but it's not much lower than the bend on the downpipe there, so yeah, it's fine. Let's give it a start yet. So I think the next thing I've got to do on that is probably a bit more expensive than the mods I've done so far, and the invisible mods as well, really. So it's that suspension, the 2 rear shocks. I'm a big fat git, so they're a bit too soft for me. I lose too much height on the bike as well when I sit on it. So I want them stiffening up to try and retain a bit of height, because it's only a small bike, as we know. So I prefer to be retain its height where I can if it's possible. So that's all the mods on the bike. So as I said, the next thing that we're going to look at is lightweight camping gear, which I'm going to try and get on the bike. So what I've done here, just use the Lomo bag. Now that's quite good, that, because there's nothing in there. All I've done is I've trapped air inside it, rolled it down and left it there. So that is waterproof. That's and it's bomb proof. That is excellent bag. I might have paid 20 quid for that, 18 quid. It wasn't much. It's a couple of years old, so I've dusted that off. And that's the one I'm going to be using, I think. I've got a big hard box from the back. I think it's 35 litres. I might use that, but I think this is going to be the better option, although I'm going to need to sort something out with a plate on top. Dean off Monkey Dicks, he's had a plate put on these rear rack to make it a bit bigger, so I'm going to have a look into that. So there's the bag. On this side over here, what I've got is these are luxuries. These are stuff I don't really need, or I would only use them if I was winter camping. If I'm summer camping, this is all I need, the stuff on this side. So this was the one that was recommended to me off the other video. Somebody came on, we had a chat about it, and a couple of other people mentioned it, so I did a bit of research and I found one on eBay for just under £70, brand new. Obviously new old stock, it hadn't been used, or they bought it, not used it, but so I got a bargain there, because I think they're 100 quid usually, even though the retail shows a lot more than that. I think the standard price is 100 quid. Also, I've picked up an Alp Kit bivvy bag. Packs down, it really will squash up that, you know, it's very lightweight. And the reason I've got that and the tent is because I went with the down sleeping bag. It's a Rab Ascent 500, which is good for 1 degrees, I think it is. And that goes down to about half the size of what it is now. I've not compressed it up because I don't want to destroy the feathers while it's in storage. In fact, it goes into a much bigger bag than that while it's in storage. I just put it into its normal one for now. This bag I have to take whether it's winter or summer. It's basically a possibles bag, bits and bobs bag, all the extras, cutlery, fire lighting, all the little extras. Cook system, can't get away from that, that's a necessity. Although I probably do not need 2 frying pans. That's the stove and 2 pots. So this set comes together, and then this is the Highlander. I've got a bigger gas canister than what most people use to go inside. That's why it's not quite fitting. Whoops. But yeah, it's the Highlander. It's like a jet boil. It's the Highlander fast boil. There's nothing in there between this and the larger version of the jet boil, which is it the Zip? There's two jet boilers, one's cheaper, one's about £70–80, one's about £110. This is the equivalent of the £110. It's got a larger pot, it's basically the same. I might get them out and do another video to show you exactly what everything is, but just a quick brief overview for now. So there's the bag, there's the tent, that'll go with the bag. One, it gives you a bit of extra warmth, plus also it protects the down bag, because you don't want any damp getting onto the down. Now the one problem for me I need to resolve is the sleeping pad. This is my mat. It's a good old trusty £15 mat, but it's massive. Let me see if I can get it out. Just bear with me a second. Okay, so it's nothing special, but for me, I really do need a good sleep. Now, this is £15, it blows up quite big. It's got a nice flock top and it's to stop you sliding off here. So I need to sort that out. And I could spend £150, £200 on the thermarest. But they're thinner than these. In fact, I'll pump it up because this is a bit of a luxury, I suppose, what I've got. But for me, it's probably a necessity. And it's a small rechargeable air pump that runs for around 40 minutes. So it should do plenty. What I'll do is I'll show you now. Basically, oh, this is awkward. Unplug that. Insert that and flick the switch. That just blows it up. I think the pump's a necessity for a couple of reasons, and the main reason is you don't want to be breathing into an air mat. As soon as you put breath into it, you've got moisture inside. So you've got a couple of problems there. One is that you're going to end up, the moisture, you're not going to get it all out ever, so it's going to go mouldy. You're going to cause mildew inside your mat, which will start eating away. When it starts eating away, it's going to end up killing the baffles. If anyone's ever had an airbed where the baffles have popped, it just goes like a ball, and once one goes, they all go one after the other. So it doesn't hold its shape as a bed anymore, it just goes more like a ball. So that pumps up quite fast. It's really good. So you can see how thick that bed is. I really do need my comfort. I can't get away from that. I can cope with anything, long hours in the seat, wind, rain, snow, as long as I get a good sleep. And that bed gives me a good sleep. It's bulky, but it gives me a good sleep. So it's pretty much up. Yeah. That pump is awesome. I'll come around to this side. These other bits, extra bits, these are bits that I'd either take if it was a very long trip, if it's winter, or if I've got room for some extras. Basically, this is a nice lightweight hammock. So if you need somewhere to rest up, maybe you do want to sleep off the ground, you can jump in the hammock. It's got whoopee slings, so it's very easy to set up. And then there's a tarp as well, so I can use. It's not a proper camping hammock. I usually just use it as a chair for through the day. Often goes in my day sack if I go for a walk and sling it up and have a rest. Tarp. This one is the Alp Kit 3 square. It doesn't come with any pegs or cordage, but it is nice. It's nice enough. It's good quality material. It's very waterproof, very strong, ripstop, good size. So if it's winter, I'll marry that with the tent. So I'll have like a nice admin area in front of the tent for doing cooking, sitting down if the weather's bad. If the weather's good, I don't really need it. It's just if the weather's bad. So that's an extra that I can take along with that. That's not a necessity, but they're both very lightweight. Here's the chair. It's an Alp kit, a lightweight chair. Still quite bulky, but it is very lightweight. So again, it's a chair. If the weather's bad, if you're doing a lot of hanging around under the tarp in the rain, you need to sit down on the floor. It's not very good if it's all wet and muddy, so chairs can be useful. Again, it's a luxury, I don't need to take that. That's a table. It's an Alp kit folding table. It's very lightweight. Yeah, it takes up space, so it's a luxury. But it's always very useful to have a nice flat area for doing cooking, especially if you're using this sort of stove. You want something level. You can push the feet into the ground a little bit to give yourself a level area. This is my old table, so I've got two tables now. At least this one's a bit smaller. Yeah, it's thinner. They're both two tables, both do the same sort of thing. Well, I'll crack these open when I'm a bit more organised. Give everyone a look at them. So this side's all luxury. I've got chair, tables, tarp, hammock, good old trusty cheap bed, which has never let me down. That pump is brilliant. It's a lot smaller and labour intensive than a hand or foot pump. I say I'd never use my breath to pump up a bed. I would never recommend anyone to use the breath to pump up an air bed. I've looked at different options, maybe a cot bed, but they're very bulky and heavy. So I think I've had it a couple of times where a inflatable bed has popped on me and you've ended up sleeping on the cold hard floor all night until you can replace it. So in that respect, air beds aren't fantastic. That's why I was looking at the cot beds maybe, but they're just too heavy. Especially now that I'm going for a smaller steed to carry everything with. So this is necessities. That's air bed, bag and cover, cooking, bits and bobs, fire lighting, etc. And a tent. Tent, sleep system and cook system. They're the basics, they're all I need. All will go in that lower bag, no problem. In fact, everything will go in if I decide to take everything. Maybe I'll do some more videos if anyone's interested in actually seeing these things being reviewed, being opened up, being set up. I'll do that for you. Let me know. Thanks very much.